When this episode releases, we will be in West Monroe preparing for the Louisiana Delta Comic Con, taking place all day Saturday in West Monroe. Pretty excited about it. This will actually be our third con of the year, which is, it's big for us. That's a lot for Celeste and I to be able to have the opportunity to do, and we are so blessed and thankful to have this chance to do it. One of the things that happens every single con, and outside of the con, I honestly, is we're asked a really simple question. That is, why are we doing this? Why do we do Geek Devotions? Why do we do all the stuff we do? Well, I thought today for this episode, I'd answer that question. Hello, Devoted Geeks, and welcome to Geek Devotions, a show from Devoted Geeks who are devoted to letting you know you're loved. I'm Dallas. I'm so glad you've hit the play button today. If you are new to our show, we take geek pop culture items like movies, video games, comic books, and anime, and we use it to let people know that they're loved. So if you don't watch past this moment, know this: we love you, we care about you. There is a plan and a purpose for your life. Do not give up. So the question, why do we do this? Why is it that we have released 483 devotions over the span of every single Friday for almost the last decade? Why is it that we have roughly 342 podcasts covering a variety of topics? Well, it's for a purpose, and it's in that intro. We take geek pop culture items like movies, video games, comic books, and anime, and we use it to let people know that they're loved. And this seems like a strange thing that I have to explain, but people often look at us and they go, why are you here? Why are you doing this? And sometimes it's coming from people who are just genuinely curious. Some of it's coming from people who genuinely love us and they're worried about us, because this isn't necessarily a major corporation. This doesn't pay the bills. And then sometimes you have people who aren't Christian and they're looking at us because they think it's strange and they don't necessarily want us around. And unfortunately, sometimes it's from Christians who are very confused about what we're doing. So why do we do this? Well, to answer that question, I want to take you back to the beginning. And this is a story we've told many times in various interviews when we were on K-Love or when we were talking with other people on other podcasts. This story goes back to before Celeste and I were married. Celeste and I were in line for the very first con that we ever had the opportunity to go to, which was the very first Geek'd Con here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And we're in line like you do with normal con life. And we are doing life with people. We're talking, we're chatting. And through the conversation, they found out that I'm a pastor. They found out that Celeste loves Jesus greatly, that we're engaged to get married, and we're excited about that. And people are hyped about the con. We're talking about geek life and things are going to take place in there. And then all of a sudden, there's some people protesting the con. Now, I hope that this was being done in good faith, where they didn't know what else to do, but they're sitting there really, literally yelling at them, saying, you're all going to hell, and the people in line screaming, we know. And it was getting a little bit out of hand in some fashion. And people looked at Celeste and I like, well, are you going to yell at us now? And I jokingly say this, but it was really a conversation I've had with people like, well, will it help if I do yell at you? Will my yelling at you make you go, oh man, I need to turn to Jesus? Obviously the answer is no. So my response is simply this: let me love you where you're at. And so Celeste and I, we walk into the con. And as soon as we walk on the con floor, guys, it is an amazing experience. If you are a person who's a geek and a nerd, you've never been to a convention, when you go to your first one, it's an awe-inspiring moment when you walk onto the con floor and there are cosplayers everywhere. There are comic books and anime and manga and video game stuff just scattered across the place, and everyone seems to get it. Everyone understands what's taking place in the environment. There's a common language being spoken, and finally you feel like you have a place to belong. You feel like you're seen. You feel like your interests are finally, somebody is validating them. Somebody's taking interest in what you're interested in. And as we're walking the con floor, we're excited. We're hyped about it. I feel a little out of place because I did my very first cosplay, which was Arthur Dent from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I'm wearing pajamas and a robe, and people think either I just woke up or I'm playing the dude. But either way, we're having fun. I got to meet one of my favorite comic book artists and writers, Ben Dunn, and they had him autograph the very first issue of Ninja High School and also Marvel manga, and I was hyped about it. But as we continue to walk the con floor, one of the things that happened was that Celeste and I began to be heartbroken. Because we begin to realize that while there are people preaching the gospel outside, they've effectively shut the door. They put up a stumbling block for them to hear it by the way they were doing it. And the people who needed the gospel were right there on the con floor. The people who needed to be told, hey, you're loved. Someone cares about you. There's a plan and purpose for your life. They weren't able to hear it because the people that knew it were out there. And Celeste and I are thinking about it, we're praying about it, and we go, somebody needs to do this. Somebody needs to be a voice in the wilderness, if you will. Somebody needs to be willing to speak the language that these people know and let them know that there's hope, that there's truth, that God cares about them, that there is hope beyond this world if they put their lives in the hands of Jesus Christ. We began to think about this, to pray about it, and to figure out what it looks like for us to be a voice into geek culture. And at the time, there wasn't a ton of people out there doing it. There were a couple of groups, and they were doing some cool stuff. You had Geeks Under Grace. You had, at time, God Squad. Now they're called XP Church. And Celeste and I, though, were like, we can speak this language. And it wasn't just that. It was, we need to speak this language. There was something inside of us that said we needed to do this. So in August of 2016, we did. We started Geek Devotions. We launched it with a video, has terrible audio, all about how Batman's crazy and so am I. And we've been going ever since. Again, 483 episodes as of this episode right here. Every single Friday, not a single Friday taken off. We've been putting out these devotions to encourage people, to point them back to hope. Why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this because we believe this is a mandate the Lord has. You have your basic scriptures out there. You have John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And that verse right there tells us that God loves people. He loves the people in the world, so much so that he gave Jesus to die for them. Another passage tells us that before the foundation of the earth, God knew us and Christ died for us. That God said, I know that you're going to be lost in your sin and that you aren't going to accept me right now, but my son is going to die for you so that you can have that opportunity. We've done nothing to accept this love. Honestly, this is part of the reason why we created our shirts on our website that we have, that it's the Japanese that says, we love the world because God loved the world, because he does. He loves every person on this planet. But because of the effects of sin, they have been separated from God eternally. But God says, I have a plan and purpose for your life. I don't want you to be separated. I need you to have real life within me. So he made a plan. And that was his son, Jesus, taking on our sin and dying for us so that we could be restored into relationship with God. And all we have to do is accept it. Now, yes, there is the aspect that when we give our lives to Jesus, that there's a change in what we do. There's a change in the way we think and the way we see things. There's a change in our lives that is tangible. And sometimes it's a slow transformation. For some people, it's a 180 out of there. So there's change that comes, but that change comes because we are getting our minds and our heart in alignment with the scriptures and with the Father. But so many people don't even get to that point because the people who love Jesus either A, refuse to go to where people are, or B, put up so many walls before they can even present the gospel that when that finally comes out, the soil's rocky, or it's just flat out concrete paved over. So what do? I look to Matthew. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Celeste and I realized in order to reach the lost, we had to be present and let them see God working through us. We had to present the gospel. Yes, there's a vocal aspect of presenting the gospel, but they need to see us doing life with them. Being a geek and a nerd is not a sin. Are there sinful things in geek culture? Yes. And you have to handle that. Just like there's sinful things in sports culture, in book culture, in whatever culture there is. So what Celeste and I did is we said we're going to be present. We're going to love people. We're going to care about them. We're going to let God shine through us to these people. Not so they can go, oh, look at those two people, but for them to go, who is this God that you serve? And why are you here? When all the other Christians won't. Why are you? And we can say, because we love you. And we love you because God first loved you. So here we are, letting you see what the Father sees in you. That's really why we do this. It's just to love people who others just won't. I know that geek culture is kind of becoming mainstream now, and that's amazing. That's awesome. But there's still people in that culture who feel unseen, who feel unloved, who feel lost, who feel like the only friends they have are the fictional ones in the games and in the movies and the manga and the comics that they consume. We want to be present to go, hey, I see you. More importantly, so does God. And He genuinely loves you. And He cares about you in a way that you probably can't truly fathom right now. I know the world has said a lot of things to you. Unfortunately, there's been some Christians that have said some terrible things to you, perhaps. But please know this. There is a plan and a purpose for your life that God has given you. And if you will give your life to Jesus, it's going to unlock some new things for you. And those things are going to be beautiful. It's not going to be easy, but they will be beautiful and they will be good as long as you walk this out with Jesus. I don't really have a big flashy way of ending this episode. Obviously I'm not even sure how this is going to go in the YouTube algorithm. If you made it this far, thank you. Thank you for listening to why we do this. Again, we've been at this for almost 10 years. We're not the biggest and baddest ministry out there, okay? We're not like Love Thy Nerd, who's doing some amazing things, or the Geeky Guys and Gals for God, or our XP Church and Pastor Susie. These people are legends and they're awesome. And I am so thankful to be in a community of Christian creators who are doing some amazing things. We are part of a network called Culture Box with other creators who are doing amazing things while pointing people back to Jesus in their own way. And we are blessed to be here, to be present. If you're at Louisiana Delta Con and you've looked us up after the con, or perhaps you found us before the con, how cool would that be? Know this, we genuinely love you and care about you. I don't know what your interaction was going to be like or will be like on the grounds, but we hope that you walked away knowing that you're loved. Jesus loves you. We love you. There's hope for you. I guess for a question of the week for you guys would be this: what is a way for you to share, to let the light shine through you? Like, genuinely, look at what's in your hand and find a way to let God's light to shine through you to other people. For Celeste and I, it was this. I already had a background making videos and doing stuff, and so this was a natural evolution for us. But what can you do? How can you impact other people? And don't look down upon it and go, well, it's just this little thing. Don't do that. God's going to use whatever He has for you. Again, I know we said we're not as big as these other creators, but God's using us in great ways, and we are blessed and thankful for those ways that He's used us. So how can God use you? Let us know. Leave it in the comment section so we can pray over those things with you. I want to invite you guys to just be part of our community. Like, literally, like, that's what drives us, is the community. We have our Discord channel. We have our we have our Facebook group, Devoted Geek Life. And in those communities, we do life with people. We have weekly live streams on that we play video games, we pray for folks. These are amazing opportunities. So come hang out, come be part of it. And if you're like, you know what else, I want to help support you guys. Like literally us going to Louisiana Delta Con this weekend. A portion of that was paid for by our patrons, by people who are just supporting us financially. If you want more information on how to support us, if it's monthly or maybe it's a one-time gift, go to our website, geekdevotions.com, where you can find our PayPal, you can find our Patreon, and other ways to support what we do here. This is an awkward ending, and this is falling flat, and I apologize. But I get emotional when I think about this because honestly, we are just thankful that people believe in this vision. That people believe in what we're doing. That they would support us in this fashion, either financially or just encouragement, cheering us on. At Geek'd Con, we had people coming to our booth on a regular basis that have been watching us or seen us, and they're just thankful that we're there. And that encouraged us in so many ways. And we are so thankful for them. We're so blessed by that. Please know that if you support us in any way, whether it's through your prayers, whether it's financially, that Celeste and I cherish those things. Because that tells us that you believe in the mission of seeing the people who are unseen, seeing the people who are lost in the shadows, reaching the people that others have put up roadblocks to reach. So thank you. We genuinely appreciate you. Until next time, stay devoted, peace and love.